Do you have children that are between the ages of, say, 5 and 18? Do they have some struggles? I'm going to share with you the best kept secret in education. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Dr. Jan Bedell. I'm a neurodevelopmentalist with Brainsprints. We help parents find the root cause of learning challenges and address those at that root cause, enabling the full potential of the child to come out. Now, one of the best kept secrets I've been talking about for 30 years is auditory processing. What in the world is that? You might be asking. Well, auditory means it's coming through your ears, and processing is your short term memory. That's what you can bring in and hold together in your short term memory and can come right back out. Now, this is an important key to a person's function. What does it affect, you might ask? It affects their ability to follow directions. You have a child that you tell something to do, a list of activities, and maybe they get one or two done. It could be low auditory processing that's causing that. They have trouble following directions, staying on task, so they're very easily distracted. They have trouble with comprehension, both what's told to them and when they read. That auditory processing affects all of that. They also have trouble with seeing the big picture. So if you have a child that's impulsive, they just do things without thinking of the consequence, it could be the root is low auditory processing. Now, what we do is, again, equip parents with the activities to do to change this. There on our website, there is a free test kit that you can get. So just go to brainsprints.com, or if you want to put in the comments, we'll send it to you as well. Send you the link to that. So what I want to encourage you with this is that it can change like in a very short time. Last week, I just saw a client they're in their teens, they have low auditory processing, and they came up a full year in this ability from like a 4 to a 5. So what this means is they can process much more like closer to an adult. An adult should be able to process 7 pieces of information, and all those details will be in that kit. So be sure to get that about what all this means. But let's say you have this 15-year-old that is processing like a 5-year-old. What kind of things might be happening in his world? It could be socially much further behind, so social immaturity. That makes it really hard on them in their self-esteem when they're having trouble with their peers. It's going to be someone that uh, is always in trouble because you're expecting this 15-year-old behavior, or if you have a 12-year-old or a 10-year-old and they're processing lower, like a younger child, oftentimes they get along with younger children, but not with their peers, and they can't remember to do their chores. It's just so frustrating. You do the same thing over and over, but they just can't quite remember to feed the dog. So this will help you to understand better about what's happening with your child when you know about their auditory short-term memory. This will give you a way to give them more grace because you're not expecting this high behavior. You're expecting, oh, now I see their brain is kind of tricking them. They're not processing up to their age. So I can't expect that behavior. So you can modify, give them fewer things to do at one time. But the most key thing to do is don't let them stay in that situation. You want them to come up quickly to their appropriate age and ability for processing. That kit will not only tell you where your child is right now, but it will give you an activity to do that will change this over time. So if you've followed me very much, you know about frequency, intensity, and duration, the best way to learn anything. So if you take 2 minutes to work on this skill, like one of my clients did, over 4 months, they came up a full year in processing ability. So it changes everything. And as they get closer and closer to 7, you will see massive differences. They're more responsible, they're more age appropriate. They're doing better in their school because as they read things, they're holding that information and they're able to answer those questions and even take the test at the end of the time that they're working on particular subject. So it is just so important. Like I said, it's uh, I think it's the kingpin to changing children's ability that have auditory processing challenges. I mean, it changes their ability there too, but also if they have learning challenges, this is a huge piece of that. Again, what our goal is to change the brain, build those new pathways so that those super duper cars that are running around in that child's brain can get off that back bumpy road and onto the freeway. It does take some time. This client had worked twice a day for 2 minutes for 4 months, but look at the accelerated growth. They came up a full year in that ability. It's got a ripple effect for their whole life and definitely worth the investment. So I want you to try that out, get the test kit, try that, and see if you don't see ADD symptoms reduce and dyslexic symptoms reduce because they're able to use their phonics better when they can process better. I forgot to mention that in the first part, but they have to have a good processing to handle phonics. So if you're paying for some expensive uh, therapy that works on phonics because your child has dyslexia, this may accelerate their progress with that therapy just by tenfold. Because just think about it. Your auditory system is, uh, well, if you really think about it and analyze all the pieces of phonics, you have to receive the auditory information. You have to hold the knowledge of all the different sounds long enough to get the word out. And then you have to oftentimes remember a rule that goes with it, the silent E rule or something like that. If the child is not processing well, they may be able to make all those sounds of all the phonograms, but not hold the pieces long enough to get the word out, or it's very laborious and they're saying act, act, cat. They finally come out with it because they've gone over it enough times that they can do that. Now, usually it's not happening so much with 3-letter words. That was just an example that I was giving, but it does happen all the time that progress is slowed with any phonics program if their processing is low. So give your child a gift of auditory processing. Please pass this on to your friends because 1 out of 5 children is suffering with learning challenges, and there's an answer. Help us to be the catalyst to help million children here in the US and around the world with learning challenges. We just want to abolish them. They don't do us any good. And we want to, again, release that full potential of that individual. So until next time, it's the Brain Coach signing off.